Welcome back, viewers. So I wanted to kind of do like a part 2 to the technician shortage, and it's been coming for a while. I will tell you that it is so much easier for people today, younger generation, to one, not work at all, work from home, work from their phone, not get dirty, do OnlyFans. There are so many ways that people can make money today to where they don't have to deal with the people in retail. You hear us say that all the time, that retail customers are impossible, and some are, and this doesn't go for everybody. Don't think I'm a sour ass over this. There are some customers that truly respect and love what you do for them. We had a guy today, first time customer, come in, 2022 new Lincoln, do the maintenance, do whatever you got to do, and then gave the mechanic a $20 tip. We don't see that very often. He appreciated getting his car done, getting it handled properly. He requested, he only wanted OEM fluids and filters and all that stuff. No problem, dude. Whatever you want, whatever you're willing to spend, we'll give it to you. But that is not all the rainbows and sunshine. It's not. Typically, it's not a pleasant experience in most areas of the world. I don't know anyone who comes in and, I love being here. I know that you're going to give me news that my car needs something, but that's our job. No different you going to your doctors and your dentist. I love going to the dentist. You know how many people hate going to the dentist? I love going to the dentist. I love the whole experience, and I always have. Doesn't matter who it is. If they make my gums bleed to death and they're hurting me, I don't care. I enjoy all of it. And I've been going to the same dentist for a long time here in Cherry Hill. Woman owned, father had it before her, generational, good vibes, small joint. But like I said, it doesn't bother me. Do your worst when you're working on my mouth. I don't care. You know what I worry about? I hope they don't smell my bad breath. I try and make sure I'm all fresh and ready for that experience. But it's relaxing. It's enjoying. I don't know what it is about the scraping and the cleaning, and I just love it. And people should love going to get their car fixed too, because it's rewarding in the end if you actually take care of your car. What does that mean? Your car's not going to break down as much. Your car's not going to have as many problems. But you have to love your mechanic. You got to make people want to do this. You have to make people want to do this business. You know, and here's a place here that probably was a repair shop at one point in time. They've stripped the business down to the minimums. We just want to do tires and oil changes. You see that? This is a very cultural shift change in auto repair, that these used to be full service auto repair shops. They stripped it down to the basics. They don't need a super high skill guy to do tires, and they don't need a super high skilled guy to do oil changes. That's facts. And I can show you another spot in the Northeast that these have popped up all over the place, that these were big time service facilities doing engines, transmissions, state inspection, everything else, that they can't keep enough talent in the bays to take care of the customers, or the customers are just too much for them to deal with. So there's definitely been a culture change in auto repair in the Northeast. I've seen it only because I'm from the Northeast. I've worked in the Northeast, and I've seen these shops go from full service auto repair to tires and oil, because it's a minimum skill, and even at that, there's still troubles. Customer in most cases is not going to take their tire off and put a tire on, let alone do they want to even change their oil. But let me get to the meat and potatoes. When I was in high school, that we had industrial arts classes. Now people are probably saying, well, what is that? Because they don't know it, right? We had home ec, we had sex education, we had a bunch of different things. But for me, for the guy that's mechanical, right, or can't sit still in a classroom environment with his high age ADHD problems, undiagnosed and unmedicated when I was younger, that my high function, I didn't excel in math, science, reading, writing, sitting in a classroom, sitting still. Where did I excel? Drafting, machine shop, wood shop, metal, construction trades. That's where I spent majority of my second freshman year, sophomore, junior, and I dropped out my senior year to go to work in auto repair. How about that? But those industrial arts class, right? And we didn't really have much welding in that aspect of it. We really didn't have any much plumbing, but those industrial arts class in your high school years are kind of planting the seeds for the generations. Now, my auto shop was a full service shop, and we had a mix of girls and boys, and I was shocked when I was in my first year of auto shop that we had a bunch of chicks in there. And the class was probably 20, 25, but then the girls were involved, but they weren't really there. They kind of were there to just get the grade, although they kind of got the basics of it, right? It's not like they were, cleaning oil pans and, doing engine jobs and boring engines and valves. I did all that stuff. Timing chains, timing belts, tune-ups. We were like the auto shop for the teachers and the locals. And I learned a lot. And so did a lot of other guys. Now, I have one friend who came out of auto shop, Ernesto. He owns a body shop. I have a friend who was in auto shop also. His name is, damn it. I can't think of it right now. Give me a second here. Tandy. He went to body shop school and he works at a high-end detail shop. Not that everybody who came through there turned out to be a mechanic, or even continued the auto mechanic trade, or even wants to work on their own car. Now, I also have some friends that were in our construction trades that went into the unions and the iron workers unions. I have a few friends that went into the construction business, and I had a few friends who actually weren't in any of those. They were the jocks, started a carpet company. But my point is, if they don't have industrial arts available and somebody really doesn't know what to do with themselves, and the world's very different today, like you could just become an Uber driver and make really good money. Like I know Uber drivers make excess over $100,000 a year, and then I know some Uber drivers are just using it for something to do and fill their income. It's changed a lot in the last 20 or 30 years. I've been out of high school a long time. We didn't have Pornhub. We didn't have YouTube. We didn't have TikTok. We didn't have what we have today that's available for people to make money. And nor did we have the industry kind of like, how do I say this? Like Philadelphia area was very, very, I'm going to pull over a little bit here. I don't know if this is going to help this guy get through. That in Philadelphia, there used to be Bud's Manufacturing where they made body parts. There's really no industry in Philadelphia anymore. Like you could go be a factory worker. And it's kind of changed now that you have Amazon as your large factory. And then, you could go to work for Amazon in controlled climates, right? And work inside and make a decent wage, right? I think Amazon's like $22 or $23 an hour. But we don't have the trades that would necessarily get people involved in the shortcomings in the service industry and field. Like, I don't think there's a line of people who want to be plumbers. I don't think there's a line of people who want to be mechanics. And I can tell you that because everybody wants a mechanic. And when they say mechanic, and then the industry's so desperate that we just need a body that, that has a heartbeat, right? I've heard that. I just need a body for someone to be in the bay that I can tell them what to do and watch and help. But this industry, auto repair, is not easy, and it's very expensive. It would be more affordable for you to get a used truck and a lawnmower and start a landscaping or just a grass cutting business and work your own schedule and work your own pace. Although it's outside, sometimes it's miserable, sometimes it's not. But it's not people telling you every day that they're mean to you. Like in an auto repair, people were mean. And probably some other places they're mean too. Like when I went to not to get too far off, so I went to the heart doctor today, and everything checked out good right now. So I'm good for another 6 months. I should make it another 6 months. That the guy at the counter, so when I walked in, here you go. I walk in, I'm always early for my appointment. The doctor usually never sees us on time. You know, time is money for me. Time is money for him. So the lady said, you can't check in yet. He's a half hour behind. I was like, well, we're 20 minutes early. No big deal. I'm like, all right, well, can I get a refund? Because like I already allotted myself for this time today. Now you're telling me my appointment time's 30 minutes delayed. And I said, you know, just being the easygoing guy is like, all right, I'm just going to sit here. And I said, can I even talk to the doctor? Nope, can't talk to the doctor. Like, is there anything I can do to help you get through your job? And this is for real. Like, and the room's packed with old people wanting to see their cardiologist or whoever else in this place. And I said, all right, well, I guess we're just going to sit here and wait. And then the guy comes in who's not really nice. He's here for his appointment. He's a little rude. And every time he comes here, that he gets sent to collections. So now he wants everyone in the room to know that every time he comes here, they send him to collections, and today's the day that it's going to end. And he's not happy. He didn't do it in a nice way. He said, listen, I just want to pay my copay now so you guys don't send me to collection. And you're the only place that does it. Now, is he the root cause of the problem? I don't know. I ain't never had no problems here. I don't have to pay a copay, so I don't even know. But like I said, there's an easier way of him dealing with his problems with whatever's going on than being a nasty mother effer. And we see that in my situations as I share my experience with you guys and the world in auto repair. It isn't me. I'm like, hey, what can I do for you? I don't trust mechanics. I hate you, but you know, what's your cheapest this? I'm like, are we seriously going to start our day off like this? Yeah, for real. I hate this. I hate Meineke. You know, what's your cheapest? I'm going to give you an example, not to get way off of what I'm saying here. I gave a guy a price for a muffler for his vehicle, and his request was your cheapest muffler. Okay, $50 in material and an hour's labor. That's free for a muffler today. An hour's labor and $50 in material. Customers never returned. Okay, that's $100 less than I would normally quote for a muffler for this vehicle. But back to that, there's not enough people who want to fill the auto mechanic position. And then once they get a taste of it, if you see a lot of these YouTubers out here that are mechanics that are just doing it for themselves now and maybe living on the YouTube revenue and maybe some of their small customer clients, or hey, this is all they do is work on neighborhood cars. You know, there's a Chris Fix, you know, does a lot with his. There's enough YouTube money when you become popular enough. And you don't even have to be a great mechanic. All you have to do is be a YouTube mechanic. And you could be Chris Fix or anybody else out there. But for the guys like me and the B's, you know, and I'm not saying Chris Fix is not a real mechanic. I don't think he has a master's certification in anything other than printing money with his YouTube channel. Or Scotty Wrong Kilmer all the time. Just get on your phone and make a video about fixing cars and you don't even know shit about cars, or you know a little bit about cars. So like I said, it's evolved so much. It's like, I like to be a mechanic. I want to be a mechanic, but do I really have to be a mechanic? Do I have to go to work and have someone's car leaking antifreeze and fuel and all this crap all over me while they just want an oil change? Do I want to freeze in the wintertime when the shop is barely warm and snow, sleet, and rain are dripping down my back and my face on my phone? A lot of people don't want that experience. Now here's a shop here that hasn't went complete quick lube. This has always been a repair shop for as long as I've been around Northeast Philly, and you can see he caters to a lot of used car dealer work. No tag, no tag, no tag, no tag, no tag. You have to have some type of used car dealer work to make it as an M, to keep your base full, and even those guys have hard times. So, and we see a lot of Brazilian shops come and go, but you don't see any American mechanics in there. It's crazy. So as you see the influx of migrants and immigrants come to the country too, they bring their skill and trade here, just like the roofers, you know, and the lawn maintenance guys. I mean, when's the last time you've seen American owned and operated lawn service company? Not many around here. There used to be a lot, not anymore. How about tree companies? Well, they have evolved to a lot of Mexican. And I'm not saying anything bad about them. Kudos to them. Come here and start their own business, or, you know, work for somebody and start their own business. Roofers used to be lots of American-owned roofing companies. Now, Mexican. They're willing to work way less than American people. But I've actually heard this through from some of my customers that I do work for. They're charging high prices now. They are no longer going to the job and chopping a tree down for for $500. For Fargan. For $500. That same tree job is what the white man or the Americans were charging. That's $2,500 now. Because the guy who had that company came out and gave him a price for $3,500. Or that roof is $10,000 and the Mexicans used to do it for $2,500 and they ain't doing it for $2,500 anymore. They've smartened up. They're like, why should I give... It's like me. Why should I give my skill away? I deserve to get paid what I'm worth. But I'm going to tell you, it's not just Ford who's suffering for mechanics. I'm going to tell you, GM, guarantee that if you call any dealership, they're looking for a master technician, and they will take any greenhorn that's willing to come in with a heartbeat and a pulse to come in here and change oil and rotate your tires. It's not a dreamy job. It is a very difficult job, and a lot of people could either make less money and be happy, or they could go do other things in different careers and make more money and be happy or miserable. You know, I don't really know. But I've done new construction plumbing. I actually enjoyed it when I was younger. But like I said, I had that industrial arts training, and then I would hate to be a service call plumber. I mean, in P there's money, right? And people are willing to pay for that. More commercial than residential, but how many people are fixing their own clogged toilet? Nope, you're going to call somebody, and it ain't cheap to get your toilet unclogged or your drains clean or any of that stuff. It's expensive nowadays. You know why? Because nobody wants to do that job. I just think a lot of what we see here is a big culture change in people. There's other ways for people to have a happy, healthy life and income, not being a mechanic. Because ask all of them, it's high stress. It is not easy. The vehicles are tough. They're tough to work on. They're tight to work on. They're made poorly and cheaply. There's a lot of things. You just pick up your phone and do a video and make money, or start a Pornhub channel and make money in the comforts of your own home with air conditioning, heat. I mean, you watch these TikTokers, most of them are doing it from their house, and they're happy, dancing around and jiggling and smiling. It's because they made $10,000 today. You know, looking sexy or pretending to be sexy or sharing a product or doing something stupid. And a lot easier things. I want to say that the Island Boys, if you don't know who the Island Boys are, they are like the biggest joke of musicians in the world. But these two clowns thought that they were musicians. But the way that the world is today, you could dress up like a freaking clown and make money. And these guys did. But what they did before they became popular was they were TikTok and YouTube people. And when they worked at a dispensary, they would argue with the owner all the time that they make more money on their phone than they do on the job. That is a fact. Now, these guys are still making money. And they fizzled out like a very small firecracker, so they went viral. And then after people realized that the culture really didn't accept these weirdos, because they are weirdos, and to the tune of these two brothers made out on a video together, like, how freaking crazy is that? They wore the weirdest, stupidest styles, but they communicated with people, and then the people didn't accept them over a period of time, but they're still making money from their content that people are still viewing. By no means are they broke, but they're still doing it. If they would have saved all the money they made, they would probably be, you know, on cruise control. But just like I said, you can make more money on your phone and go viral from the comforts of your own home, and then you could have men and women dripping off of you everywhere you go, because now you're a superstar. But some of the superstars are one-hit wonders, and some aren't. So yeah, and they're still going to have a following as they move throughout their life, as much as they expose themselves. To me, I would rather do that and make, I don't know, just throw a number out. They probably were making, I don't know, $1 million a month in the height of their career, just being stupid, retarded, singing horrible songs out of tune, instead of going to work at a mechanic shop, getting dressed, getting dirty, getting greasy, getting yelled at, getting bitched at. They made more money on their phone than probably more mechanics will make in their lifetime in a short amount of time. So a lot more things. And also, I see this all the time, people out here begging for money. You don't even have to be a crumb or a crackhead to go out and stand on a corner and make $400 or $500 a day off the backs of people who you're playing the strings on. You hear that all the time. You don't have to be a crackhead to go out and beg for money and do better than the guy who's going to work every day. A lot of different opportunities to make money today. So the shortage, to me, like I said, is coming from school systems. And then when I seen Charlie Kirk's videos that I did, I said, where did all these dumb mother effers come from that are in college? Like, there's a large population of stupid people, and there's a large population of brilliant people. But yeah, I don't think the school systems are really looking to breed the trades, and that's why everyone's struggling for, I'll just say, a mechanic, right? I need a plumber, mechanic. I need, apprentice. I need something like this. How many guys you think are lined up today to work on a bridge? Yeah, right. Or dig a hole. And I also feel that those jobs are harder to get in, because now, in the old days, you were like, yeah, I need a job. You could get a job as a laborer. And then now it's changed to the point to where it's very hard for you to get a job at a laborer. Like, my son applied at PSE&G. There's not hundreds of positions open, especially for somebody with no experience. Not hundreds. So I said, apply for everything, see what happens. Maybe they'll take you in as an apprentice for something and groom you. And now, for me, if I get a guy who's an apprentice, I'm not interested. Like, take somebody from scratch and build them into mechanic. The trials and tribulations you have to go through is heartbreaking for myself and the customer. Very hard to take a greenhorn, or let alone take someone out of trade school that says, yeah, I got a BCIT mechanic certificate, or I went to one of these ATI Institute, whatever. You don't know shit, dude. Your field experience is nothing. And then I'm sure there are some guys that have done very well too. I think Ford Bossby came out of one of those places and worked at a Quick Lube for a while, and he said this ain't for me, and went into the dealership environment and continued his education and career. And now look, he's making money on YouTube and TikTok. Making money on YouTube and TikTok. Kind of like me. Like, I enjoy what I do, but I'm a hardcore mechanic, and I'm making content, and I'm making money. And eventually, if the content revenue outweighs what I'm doing at work, done, dude. I'll set up a studio and a shop and fix cars for friends and family and charge them. Once it gets to a point. And I'm shocked some of these guys haven't done that already, because with their hundreds of thousands of followers, I know the money they're making. And they're not living the lavish lifestyle. So I would definitely make that move a lot faster. But I would bet you every shop around here is looking for a good mechanic. Are they willing to pay for one? Probably not. That's the problem. And Ford, you're going to probably wind up seeing Ford, since he advertised that, they're going to say, well, what's the problem here? We have the asset program. We can't keep the employees in the asset program to stay with us, because they're going to go to Walmart or Amazon and make the same money and have hundreds of women and men that they can choose from in a clean environment all day long. It's a tough business, and it seems like the younger generation isn't into hard work. If anyone wants to back me up on it, I mean, hard work. Like, who wants to go lay bricks or jackhammer concrete? That's a brutal ass job. Kicking carpet, brutal job. Building houses today really isn't what it is. They order these kits and slap them up. In the old days, it was build a house from sticks. It's not like that anymore. And then plumbing was copper and brass, and when I was doing plumbing, we made our own gas pipe threads. We bought straight lengths and cut our own threads. We didn't run plastic water and lines like that anymore, push lock and all that stuff. It was sweat pipes together, completely different. But yeah, I think the lack of trades interesting the people to do trades, and there's good money in trades for sure, but there's way other easier things for people to do today than go out there and work in the trades. All right, if anyone else agrees with me that the school systems are some of the problem too, and it's the people. The more people grow up on their tablets and their laptops and their cell phones, and they can see that they can make money, why would they want to go to work for somebody and punch a clock and deal with all the nonsense and bullshit that goes along with punching the clock for somebody? I don't know. All right, let me know. Thanks for watching.